Cursed by the old gods in Bethany, we are 5 immortals doomed to walk the earth and complete our 1001 tasks. After centuries of having our memories stick around, we're to complete our destiny and die. We are, for now, the Immortals. This is episode 59.
Woo!
Prime number.
Yep.
I'm sure this time.
One short of 60, which is cool.
Yeah.
Other stuff.
It was a cool thing to get to the 50th episode. I liked that. But now, we're in, the late 50s, it feels more legit. Does that make any sense?
No.
This
we've
now
established
feels like there's
it could have just been a fluke.
Yeah.
Now we've definitely gone far enough past a good margin of error. We've made it.
We're, this is old age.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sure, we'll go with it.
Yeah. If it's older than my current parents right now, yeah, I'm allowed to say it.
Hey, Mom,
it's older.
I think Austin's telling you that you're old.
Crap. I mean, what?
You're telling.
I'm Austin.
I'm Adam.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Lee.
I'm Pedro.
And every week we review the 1001 movies, albums, food, songs, children's books, and TV shows that you must consume before you die. This is because we are all cursed, as we said in the introduction. Every week, poor Adam, gets possessed by one of the minions at Bethany, and that person gives us either a randomly assigned number or specifically curated number.
Unclear.
We can't really tell the difference. And then we go to these great published giant books and find that entry's number. The numbers aren't really entered in the books. We just mark them ourselves. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We got the books. We get the number. And this week's number is 806.
It's a good number.
Solid number.
Yeah.
And reviewing a couple things. But before we get to that, last week I failed as a host.
What'd you do?
My first time failing as a host.
First time in all 50
there's been no other problem.
I've been perfectly speaking, never said a wrong word,
Nope.
never mumbled, never said a wrong fact. I have nailed it for 57 episodes. In episode 58, fucked up.
Well, then all that other success means nothing.
I know.
Gotta start over at 1.
Yeah. Because last week, I even talked about it on the podcast and used it as a segue that Lee had seen The Last Picture Show, the movie review 2 weeks ago that she was able to watch. And she watched 2 movies last week so she can, old business, new hinge it up. I fucked up. I forgot to ask her more questions about it. She didn't give a hinge rating for it.
That's true. If she hasn't hinged it, then it's still open.
Still out there.
Yeah, it's true.
So, to rectify this, foreshadowing, Lee, what did you think of the movie review at episode 57, The Last Picture Show?
It was really boring, and there were lots of really awkward sex scenes.
But was it because we talked about the boredom of the Texas town in the episode, was it effectively boring? Because the characters themselves are bored.
And that is something to take into account. This movie is supposed to be boring, and this is going to be a weird sentence to say. It should be entertainingly boring, though. I was bored, so much so that I wanted to turn it off. I was bored. I did not care. At all. Didn't care about any of the characters. Didn't care about any of the in-between. Just didn't care about them being bored. I'm sorry that you're bored. Go read a book.
Did you find the use of sexuality in the film interesting?
I mean, it goes back to what I mentioned last week with a bunch of white people getting together, having some minor benign thing happen in their lives, and everything's better again. And I felt like this was just the same exact movie. It's more people being bored and trying to fill that boredom with something, and that something happens to be sex, because what else are you going to do in a small town in Texas? Well, so, I mean, I get it. I get why that's part of the story. I just was bored by it all.
Well, we will find out this week if Sex Has a Videotape is the trilogy. But first, please give us your hinge rating for The Last Picture Show.
2. It was really boring.
All right. For a longer discussion of that movie, you can go to episode 57 as we discuss that 70s Peter Bogdanovich film with the very young Jeff Bridges and...
weirdly young Jeff Bridges.
Cyril Shepherd and Cloris Leachman and other people.
Randy Quaid, I was going to say.
Yeah, Randy Quaid.
It's the best part.
The one guy I didn't recognize until the credits. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, that's the last picture show. That was 2 weeks ago. What we're going to review this week, though, are different things.
That's true.
Oh my god, I'm back at it, guys. Nailed it. Perfect host again.
We're all behind you.
Good.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
I'm not going to take into account that Adam is definitely sick right now and is wearing a winter hat inside.
Yes.
But I'm going to
Oh,
take
no.
whatever he compliments me as his moments of wellness. But this week, the movie we're reviewing is, as I alluded to, Sex, Lives, and Videotape.
The album is Timeless by Goldie.
The food is Erd, or Muradal, what it's sometimes called.
The song is Hurt by 9 Inch Nails.
The children's book is Neitah, the Girl in the North.
The Far North.
The Far North by Edith Klatt.
And the television show is Star Wars, The Clone Wars.
Woohoo!
But before we get to that subject, let's get right into sex. Lives.
I think there are a lot of women out there that'd be glad to have a young, straight male making a pretty good living.
Being happy isn't all that great. I mean, the last time I was really happy, I got so fat.
If you want to leave, leave. My life doesn't revolve around these little get-togethers. I mean, don't flatter yourself.
You know, I look around me in this town and I see John and Cynthia and you, and I feel comparatively healthy.
Sex, Lives, and Videotape is the very first film made by Steven Soderbergh, who has gone on to win an Oscar and make 1 billion films that we all like. Or probably 20 films we all like. This is the film that really launched Sundance into being a thing. At this point, Sundance had been around for a couple of years, but it was the arrival of this film as this provocative drama between these four people that launched Sundance as a place for new independent cinema. That led the way also with films during this time period. It's kind of 3 big independent films, maybe 4, of new auteurs. This with Steven Soderbergh, El Mariachi by Robert Rodriguez, Slacker by Richard Linklater, and Clerks by Kevin Smith. But this is the one that kind of started it all, and it's an interesting film. It is a story about a woman played by Andie MacDowell.
Groundhog Day.
Yes, you can tell this film came out between 89 and 95 because Andie MacDowell's
McDowell's
in
in
it.
it, yeah.
Yes. Although she was just in Magic Mike XXL, she was very good in it.
She was amazing in it.
Which is DP by Steven Soderbergh, because he directed the first one, but let someone else direct the second one. Whatever. The point is this: she is a Southern woman who is not having a great marriage at the moment. She is married to John Gallagher from the OC fame.
That's really, that's what John Gallagher is definitely known for.
Isn't it?
And his crazy
Nope, it
eyebrows.
is Peter Gallagher.
It is
John
definitely
Gallagher.
Peter Gallagher.
It's from the Newsroom.
That's correct.
I think that's John Gallagher Jr. There's Gallaghers out there. This one is Peter
This
Gallagher.
one is Peter Gallagher.
And they have a marriage. He's cheating on her. She is very sexually unsatisfied. Then comes into town Peter Gallagher's old friend from college, played by James Spader. And get this, James Spader plays a weirdo who's into erotica. This has never happened in film before. It will never happen again. Just kidding. It happens like every film. But he is a strange man who is impotent and really kind of...
Maybe. I don't think it's completely clear that he's actually impotent.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just
But
crazy.
at least the way he says he gets off is that he videotapes people just having conversations about their sexual history.
I mean, the movie is literally called Sex, Lies, and Videotape, is my point.
And perhaps the biggest lie is also that Peter Gallagher, Andie MacDowell's husband, is having an affair with Andie MacDowell's sister,
What?
played by the only non-famous person in it. I
Yeah.
should have.
She was in Just Shoot Me.
Oh, that's right. She was. I've barely actually seen Get Shoot Me. I
Just
always think
Shoot Me.
maybe an episode.
Just
ago.
Shoot Me.
Yeah, Laura San Giacomo. So anyway, this is a drama really only about these 4 people. You see maybe like 2 other people in the whole movie. But it is about them kind of learning the truth about themselves and what's going on. And what do we all think of this movie? Who hadn't seen it before?
I haven't.
I also hadn't.
I haven't.
I forgot that I did.
All right, then we're gonna go with Sarah first.
I don't know. I think it's a little bit vague to say that this movie is about people learning about themselves. I think this movie is about sex. And as a movie about sex, I actually think it's pretty good. It doesn't seem particularly revolutionary now, because we have a much broader view of sexuality, I think, now than we did when Sex Lies and Videotape came out. But it's I like that it could be a play. I like that there are literally like 4 characters. There's a therapist who pops in once, but like
And the bar hop twice.
and like the bar hop twice. But yeah, and the creep. Yeah. But like basically, it's 4 characters. It actually kind of works for me. It is about female sexuality in a cool way, and while it's definitely female sexuality from a male point of view, it's not bad. It doesn't say anything that I find like irritating or offensive. And frankly, discussions of female sexuality are rare enough on film that, I take what I can get. Only thing I don't understand is that I think James Spader's supposed to be hot, and that doesn't make sense to me because James Spader is an ugly, ugly mofo. And Annie McDowell also not hot.
I think she's pretty.
No, I know. She just looks like she's just... Even when she's young, she looks like a middle-aged mom. It's just kind of her look.
Just Groundhog's Day? The person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but,
Also, 4 Weddings at a Funeral and Michael.
But yeah, I like the, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's an interesting little meditation on hang-ups and what happens when you go past them. I think it's cool.
Pedro?
I liked it. It was... I don't know why. It's just...
This is what the show is.
I know.
It's telling why.
No, I guess themes aside, I thought it was well paced. It was short, but not actually short. I mean, an hour and 40 minutes is not short, but it felt perfectly sized up into pieces. No one storyline was like too dominating. I mean, yeah, there's definitely a main character, but like all the stories sort of intertwined well enough to where there wasn't like any unnecessary subplot. There wasn't really any subplot because it all kind of tied in to like the overall story. It was a fun watch. I don't know any of these actors. I wasn't particularly intrigued by them, except for Groundhog's Day because she's awesome because she's in Groundhog's Day. But that's about all she's got. Sorry, lady.
Andy McDowell.
Annie McDowell.
Sorry, Andy. But yeah, it was fun. I suppose fun's a strong word. I don't get the therapist bit. He didn't do anything for the movie except for maybe be brought up once to sort of.
I think it was supposed to be a kind of juxtaposition because in therapy you're supposed to kind of reveal what's wrong and kind of discover that, but therapy was never that effective for her, whereas, slight spoilers for this movie that's been out for a while, when she did a very similar action with James Spader, and he's in a therapist role, then she was a lot more open and a lot more... She learned more about herself. That's kind of what I was referring to.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's kind of getting towards the truths you were hiding from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's not an actual character. He's just, he's a vessel for her to...
I suppose.
Kind of like attempt to portray a happy life where she's trying to justify that, well, I have housework to do. Mm-hmm. Trying to justify the fact that her husband told her to stop working and now she's so bored and unhappy. Yeah.
He was... I guess they were all interesting enough. It's hard to get into the blonde guy, but at the same time he intrigues me and he's the only person I want to keep thinking about.
James Spader?
What's it?
James Spader?
James Spader. Yes, him, that guy.
Yeah.
Because I think it's about him. Am I wrong?
No,
I don't know.
It's about all four of them, I think, but yeah.
Except less
Not really.
Peter
it's
Gallagher, because I think he's the only
jerk.
two-dimensional character.
He's the lies.
Of the four, he's just a cheating asshole.
True.
With,
Yeah.
with no real perspective.
I guess not.
Yeah,
But
I
he
didn't
is
get much
he is
from him.
sort of, I guess, what we're supposed to latch on to when we hear sort of the backstory of David? Whatever. Spader.
James Spader.
James Spader. He's kind of...
He was Ultron, man.
Was he? I never saw that.
It's okay.
But, I mean, when Blonde Guy gave us his backstory, I basically took him to be asshole husband. And it was kind of cool to see the split of the two, because they come from a similar background, the same background. I don't know. It's hard for me to think about this right now.
So, Lee, we've had 2 weeks of whiny white people. How was this week?
More whiny white people.
Oh.
Well, okay, so I have to disagree with Sarah a little bit about the whole female sexualization thing here, because yes, we need to have important conversations in media about how healthy sex is for women, because it is often portrayed as it's not. I think it's really fucking creepy that he's recording them talking about and sometimes masturbating, and then masturbating to these videos, like.
But I mean, the whole thing, right, is that like these are. It's very clear during the entire movie that this is very much with women's full consent and participation, and there's never any indication that that's not the case. And it is sort of about the exhibitionist streak in some of these women, and that is sexually exciting for them as well. I mean, like, I agree. Committing sex acts to video, I tend to think, is a bad idea. But I don't think that's something that the movie ignores. Like, I think it's something that the video talks about and still shows you why these women are doing this, and that is because of their pleasure and their interest in this experience.
Mm-hmm. I never thought it was weird that they consented to be on video. The weird part is with him holding the camera.
But like,
the fact that he's the one that's going out and doing this, not the fact that they said, yeah, sure.
But like, I mean, I guess that's like, I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, like, everyone's fetishes are, you can call them weird if you want. I mean, in the end, like, this is very much painted as consenting adults doing something that's sexually pleasurable for everybody. And that's really what I mean about it being a sexually empowering movie. We still don't have movies that really talk about that.
Magic Mike XXL.
Yeah.
I need to watch that still.
So great.
I want to.
But does the
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, though, Lee.
But does the videotape aspect change because this is 1989 videotape? Like, this is like pre-internet.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, like, when they talk about sharing the videos, it's like, he might give it to the creepy guy down the street. Obviously, the risks of videotaping and photographing yourself in sexual positions are significantly higher now.
I could see how, like, what did we decide his name was? Gabriel? I could see how, like, yeah.
Gallagher? Peter Gallagher?
Gallagher.
Peter Gallagher.
There we go.
The husband.
Whatever his name is. I could see how he would be very concerned about even Andy McDowell's sister doing this, because he's thinking about it from a lawyer perspective. Like, what if something happened to her and that videotape came out?
Oh, and I think that's, like, the one time that his character actually does have some dimension, because I think that perspective is treated as really legitimate. Like,
yeah.
Like, he's like, this is a terrible idea.
But the irony is, we're just going to spoil the whole film now. The irony is, he's the one who breaks the privacy.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no one else threatening to break the privacy except for he busts into the house, throws him out, and opens up his Dexter box and starts playing the tape.
Yep.
It's true.
So it's kind of like he's protecting the scum of himself.
And I mean, I think James Spader's, the one thing I didn't like about the movie was that I thought that James Spader's character was less of a character than a symbol. And as like a tool to talk about what the movie is going to talk about, that's fine. But I mean, you sort of have to buy into the movie's fiction that James Spader's character is in fact like fundamentally non-threatening, that he definitely isn't going to do anything with these videotapes, that he is like as entrancing and disarming and emotionally caring and like all of the things that he is that he is like said to be, and that's like the full story. As a woman who exists in the real world, I can't imagine ever trusting that somebody was what they seemed to be in that way. But if you're willing to buy into that fiction, I think the messages it sends about sexuality are actually really good.
Well, I think part of the way that women agree to kind of be videotaped is that within this world, they find James Spader's character to be mysteriously charismatic.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of, if the film works for you, is if you found that to be true.
No.
And I'm going to have Adam jump in, because he has been sitting here quietly with his arms folded, trying to be all mysteriously charismatic.
No, I'm actually trying to stay awake. Not because of anything you're saying. No, but this... I forgot that I had seen this movie before, which is kind of telling for my opinion of it, because I just don't relate to any of these characters at all. And I think the most interesting thing about it is what you said about it helping to start Sundance. So in that way, I think that this film is more of a historical artifact or something that you should watch if you're interested in cinema history. But I think that its themes and movies and characters have been done better in other films. So, yeah, I think it's just kind of dated as far as its message and its content.
I think it's a strong first film. I do think it is now not that flashy relic, because this was so provocative, this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just think about the pitch for this movie. I'm going to make a movie about this guy who can only get off by watching women talk about masturbation, and then I'm going to bring in Andie MacDowell for some reason. Like, that's what the pitch of this movie kind of felt like. And it just, I'm sorry, this whole movie's just creepy to me. And, like, I get it, kinks are your own thing, but I don't feel like it's coming from the voice of, we're going to talk about women's sexuality in a positive light. I feel like more of, this is a kink that we can put into this movie that still makes it this risky thing for these women to want to do.
See, and I think that the fact that it's about masturbation is, like, fundamentally, you're talking about a subject that's taboo that is, like, the most basic form of, in some ways, of women caring about pleasure and sex. Like, it is, like, the most, like, sort of the, you know, in some ways it's, like, the least kinky thing in its way. But the videotape aspect is different, I agree, but, like, I seriously, like, I struggle, and I don't know why, I guess during this conversation I've become a big advocate for this movie, but I struggle to think about a movie. Like, in some ways I think that this movie, like, sort of, like, falls sideways into that kink conversation. I agree. Like, I don't think that Soderbergh set out to make a movie about what we would now describe as kink and kink being okay. But I do think that he did set out to make a movie about women's sexuality and fell sideways into this conversation about kink and exhibitionism and other things, which I in that way I think the movie actually, I struggle to think about a mainstream movie that really deals with these kinds of themes as head-on as this one does, and as sort of succinctly as this one does. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that those movies don't exist. I just haven't seen them. So, I mean, I liked it for that. I was intrigued. I would love to see the modern version of this, because I don't know of a lot of movies that are talking about this even now. I really don't.
Give me a second.
I mean, I'm sure.
I have to keep pausing Magic Mike XXL.
Yeah, go, movie brain, go.
But it's funny. I didn't see this film entirely as female sexuality. I kind of see it as the way all four of them express themselves through sexuality, and Peter Gallagher really only seems to have pleasure through affairs. That's what he's bragging about on the phone. That's what he's doing with his sister and everything. Andy McDowell has nothing. You have the sister who has a lot of different variants, and that's what connection she connects to. And then James Spader, who has this videotape thing. I think it's kind of exposing those elements, and this is not at all necessary for a film about sex, but because this film's had a very, dark shadow over it, I didn't feel this film was ever trying to be tittillating.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that as well?
No. I mean, there wasn't really that much sex in it, except for, 2 affair scenes.
Yeah.
No, it's true. There's not a lot of nudity.
Maybe, one person sort of talking about it on tape. Well,
but even, strong sexual tension and whatnot, it's just... Not really. It just felt so grim.
It was. It was pretty grim. It was pretty bland. I don't think it was very, pretty to look at.
Wait, it's so funny because it's Steven Soderbergh, and now I can always tell what a Soderbergh film looks like because the entire...
It's so yellow!
It'll be tinted orange or yellow.
Yeah.
And this was not that. It's like watching
This one was blue.
Well, it's like watching Bottle Rocket. Before Wes Anderson had control over every single millimeter of the camera.
When they told him things like, no, you can't do this crazy thing.
You have $5, use the camera normally. Just, haha, got a studio next time. But, yeah, this is 27-year-old Soderbergh. And I think he made an interesting film. I think he got really good performances.
Just to make all of us feel inadequate. I mean, look, it may not be a perfect film, but I sure as hell couldn't make it.
27?
I'm not 27 yet.
You're immortal.
Oh, shit. Damn you. Memories.
But, yeah, I mean, this is,
It was interesting how he made the guy a liar. He could have been any sort of recovering anything. Alcoholic, drug addict, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And they all kind of have that same charisma, I'm a recovering addict of some sort. I've found the importance of just being, true to myself, true to life, whatever. Painfully honest and straightforward. I'm interesting. No, I used to be a pathological liar because
I think it fits in with the rest of the movie, though.
It does. That's sort of
everything. The rest of this movie is about interpersonal relationships and emotions and things like that, and being a compulsive liar fits right in.
And
I think it would be out of place if he was an alcoholic.
Yeah, I suppose.
And to prove that I am old, whenever he talked about that, I just kept thinking of John Lovett saying, in fact, I was the best pathological liar. From Saturday Night Live sketches from the 80s.
Okay.
Oh.
Since we're talking about 80s comedians, I was totally thinking that James Spader looked like Bill Hicks.
I can see it.
Yeah.
He's wearing the dark shirt, he's got the weird goofy hair.
I was thinking this is a sequel to Pretty in Pink. This is what happens to his character afterwards.
I'd buy it.
All right.
That makes sense.
There we go. Hinges time. I give this a 3.5.
I'll give it a 4.4.
3.8?
2.4.
Yeah, 2.5.
Alright.
Didn't have the lowest score.
I'll take it.
Adam is barely alive, guys, but don't worry. He's now unbuttoned his hat, so it just flaps down.
Just got a little warm.
It's got a little warm. All right, that is Sex, Lies, and Videotape. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's interesting.
Why?
I don't know. Exactly. The cultural conversation. Because everyone is playing along, right? They're all trying to watch every single one of these things that we're doing?
Yeah.
Whatever. Lee, what did we listen to this week?
This week, we listened to Timeless by Goldie. Goldie, this is his first album. He's a English DJ because, of course, he's British. Yeah.
So, Goldie is like a popular band, right?
He is a person, and from what I can tell, he had a couple of fairly successful albums, and then he is had later appearances on things like Celebrity Big Brother 2 and the British version of Dancing with the Stars. So...
Okay, so...
mild popularity.
Okay, I'm thinking someone else then. I kept picturing Goldie Hawn in this album, which made it a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But for those who, I don't know, fast-forwarded past the snippet we just heard, how would you describe this album?
It's definitely an electronic-based album. It's back to that jungle beat or drum and bass beat, which we heard back on, I have it pulled up and everything, episode 14 with Ronnie Size / Represent with the New Forms album. And honestly, if you made me listen to that album and Timeless by Goldie, I could not tell you which one was which.
Now, see, this is interesting because I liked the first one and didn't like this one. I don't know what that means. I
just found this... it was great background music. And in our group text today, that's everything agreed. Everyone agreed. It was good background music.
Mm-hmm. I changed my mind after saying that. Because I actually found it distracting how repetitive it was. That, like, I need forward momentum in my background sounds.
Yeah.
Whereas it feels like I'm stuck in the same 10 minutes forever.
And that's what it really felt like.
Yeah.
Jesus, sorry.
Yeah, I feel like the Ronnie Size album felt more like you were driving on a highway, and this one felt like you were driving in town with several stoplights that you had to hit all the time, and you got the red every time. Because it was just very, kind of like, the flow started and stopped quite often, I found.
I feel like Pedro kind of described it best in our group text today, where I felt like I was simultaneously really, really sleepy and really, really anxious, and Pedro described it as like falling asleep when you're really, really drunk. Like, yeah, that's exactly what it feels like.
Like you can't sleep, but you don't know if you're asleep, and your head's swimming and whatever.
Yeah.
Like that.
Not in a good way.
I liked it. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I think I listened to half of it. I don't really know.
Well, half of it is 2 3/4 of a day.
Yeah, this album is at least 6 years long.
Shit. Okay.
I know I listened to it multiple times. I just could not tell you how many times because it all sounds the same, so I didn't have a thing to, like, signify, hey, this is the beginning of the album.
Well, it also, each song is 15 seconds stretched out to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I know that's, like, the genre of this, is to kind of have that kind of, like, clubby music, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't like the sound I was listening to, and sometimes it was supposed to be disarming, like the one that's something called like a thing called Bad. What's the one called? It's really a album. John Gallagher.
This is a bad.
Yeah, this is a bad. That was a good warning, and like I got it. Like it was kind of like quietly disarming, but ultimately it was. I didn't think that was that inventive. I wasn't that impressed by what it was creating.
And I agree. Like I was bored with the whole thing, and I had time to sit and focus on it, and I just had no desire to focus on it.
I kept finding myself focused on it because it's distracting. I feel like, you know, I really should, like, I don't know, lock myself in a corner and just, like, listen to the album in the darkness to, like, really kind of get it all. But listening to it just kind of in my daily life, I kept stopping anything I was doing just to kind of go, like, is this still going?
Yeah.
How far are we into it? 3 minutes out of 14? Oh, God. It wasn't a pleasant experience. And I went in hopeful because, like, at the very beginning, I had new insight into that great Flight of the Conchords song with Inner City Lights, Inner City Pressure. Now I know where that's from. It's from this album.
I did not know that.
Because they sing that exact song and a very similar song. Except they have lyrics into it, and it's 3 minutes long. And it's good.
Yeah, this one's 21 minutes long.
Yeah.
And Yeah. I don't know, like, if this is your thing, more power to you. I did not find it appealing at all. I don't remember what I gave Ronnie Size. I'm sure not super great. But this one, I just couldn't get into it at all.
I liked Ronnie Size. Like, it had a more likable rhythm, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't impressed.
Adam, what do you think?
I don't get it.
I think there's a lot that Goldie did with the beats that he had. It wasn't as appealing to me as some other things that I've listened to in this genre. He experimented with something, and we didn't like it.
There's a new barometer for criticism, which is, did it wake sick Adam up?
Not today.
He passed 2. Not passing the bar. Pedro, do you have any final thoughts?
Not really. I mean, I liked it. I liked listening to it. I thought it sounded nice. I even liked the voices and everything. It was good background music. It was a little hard to work in the beginning with it on. This is basically the only thing I'm talking about, which is how it works as background music, because I literally did not pay attention to the music. But once you got in there, it was.
But this is your jam, because you famously don't listen to lyrics.
Exactly. And the lyrics in this are.
I loved it. I don't know. I liked it a lot. I really want to finish it. I have no idea how far I got into it, but yeah.
All right, I think it's time for henges. Lee?
3 maybe? No. Yeah, let's go with the 3.
2?
3.2.
Can I?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, sweet. 4.2.
All right, that is Timeless by Goldie. Take a listen. Sarah, what are we eating this week?
We are eating a food that goes by many names. In the book, it is listed as urd. It is also often referred to as urad. In English, it is referred to as black lentil, or, weirdly, white lentils, because you can skin the black part off of them, and then they're white lentils. Anyway, they are of a similar family to the mung bean, if any of you have ever had mung beans. If people are into... Has anyone besides me ever had South Indian, specifically, food? With the giant dosa, the rolled pancake things with all the different foods?
Maybe.
I just get whatever
curries
I can pick up at the grocery store.
Y'all should go find your local Udupi Palace or whatever and have some South Indian food. It's great. And these are really popular there. So, I made some. I wish I had time to make, like, a full, like, dal of these. I just cooked them simple and added some panchphoron to them because I have the Indian spices sitting around from our 3rd episode, like, a year ago. Panchphoron's just a mixture of various, like, cumin seed and coriander seed and asafoetida and some other stuff. So
I think it's episode, like, 3?
Literally, it's like, I think it's episode 3. Also, one thing I will say, first of all, the bag I ordered from Amazon is huge, so if anyone wants in Chicago this, I will give it to you. And also, like, these things cook up big. Like, they're like they look like very, very, very small white lentils. They cook up big. They swell more, like a cup of it was like a overflowing cereal bowl of lentils. And I have it, so boys can dig in if they would like.
Hooray! I like lentils, so we'll see where this goes.
Well, and they're not lentils.
I've worked Adam's too.
No.
He can't lean forward.
I'm gonna have one bite so that you don't get.
That is, I would thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Food. Hard. Oh shit!
What?
I spilled all my fingers.
Damn good audio.
So yeah, alright, I'm gonna start with the downsides. They have a distinct smell of feet to them, which I do not like. Like, there's like a bitter, like, I could smell it, it's like a bitter, earthy thing going on.
I don't think so.
It's definitely the bean.
So.
It's definitely the bean itself. Well, fine, then not feet. Like, it's like bitter, earthy smell. That's definitely the bean itself. But once you get past that, it was really very pleasant. They got nice. I cooked them the way I usually cook lentils, so they've got like a not much of a bite to them, but just a little bit. Good. They're very planty. They taste like plants.
Is that earthiness you're talking about?
I think so. But I don't like the bitter overtone they've got, which other lentils do not have.
Did you rinse them off before you cooked them?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did it wake up Adam?
I like it. I like bitter things, though.
I mean, they're fine.
Bitter.
They're fine.
Yeah.
I just like, of the lentil varieties, they would probably not be my go-to lentil. Austin, do you know what a lentil is?
Yeah.
Did you know what a lentil was before I started dating you?
No.
Okay. We need to get that on there.
Yeah.
I eat that at least every year. I make it for New Year's.
Why you gotta call them out like that?
Because it's ridiculous that you didn't know what a lentil was.
Isn't it in the Bible or something?
I ate it at the show. We'll see what happens.
There are definitely lentils in the Bible. There's also definitely lentils in most of the world, including America. Like lentil soup is a thing.
Yeah.
To be fair, Midwest is very particular.
I mean, but I feel like lentil soup is very homey. Like it's not like a.
I don't eat a lot of soup.
That's what we
Why
make all the time.
have lentil when you have ham and beans? Like
Yeah,
simple
I see
space.
Nah, sometimes you're in the mood for lentils.
I have lentils for the first time until probably maybe 2 years ago.
That's bonkers. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't eat them a lot growing up, but I did know what they were, which I think is different than eating them regularly.
I believe they existed.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I just didn't know what they were. I couldn't point them out.
I ate them a lot growing up. I don't think I would have known actually that they existed growing up here.
That's weird, guys.
Right?
This is a weird Indiana pocket.
If Bethany didn't wipe our memories, I'll tell you all sorts of lentil shit. I'll tell you about, how I planted lentils in, I don't know, with the lentil country.
Austin probably invented lentils.
I probably invented lentils, Sarah.
2 of my friends are from a town, or have been to a town. Like, one of them is from the town, the other has regularly attended the Lentil Festival in that town in Pullman, Washington.
Do they call it Lent?
No, it's just the Lentil Festival. And one of my friends dresses up every year as Taste-E Lentil, which is the Tasty Lentil, the lentil mascot of the Lentil Festival. And lentils are just big, round, brown things, so it's really just it looks like a brown M&M costume. But without the M on it.
That's a kind way to say it.
Yeah, or like a very round turd.
Yeah.
But it's really round.
Anywho, I don't like the taste of this.
These are good.
Tell me more.
I like the Ponche Peron.
Ponche Peron's delicious.
Going back to that episode, the Ponche Peron's the best way. It's just very bland, and there's a lot of the blandness.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't do a lot with them.
No, but we're reviewing that.
Right, that's why I didn't do a lot for them.
But, so I'm liking the Ponche Peron. I like that little bit of spice added to it. But it's really like, it's I don't know. It's unpleasant.
I feel like what you're saying is it's not bland.
No, it's so much. It's an avalanche of bland in my mouth.
Sure, we'll go with it.
And it's just like.
But mashed potatoes are bland.
I also don't like mashed potatoes.
It has it has a lot more flavor than mashed potatoes or rice. Like this is definitely not just a blank slate.
No, whereas
the way I feel like I consider red lentils a little bit more than of a blank slate than I'd consider these.
Mashed potatoes are a tidal wave.
I would.
And this
Green
is an
lentils?
avalanche. There's more texture with the snow and the water, but it's still an unpleasant texture. And third, it's I'm not a fan.
They're really good for you if you're interested. Being
really
being of the same family as mung beans.
I really
As
like
what?
the
Mung beans, which are crazy hippie food.
I thought you said mungweed, which sounds like a witch's ingredient.
Crazier hippie food.
Yep.
This
They're
reminds me-
real good for you. They have lots of vitamins and stuff.
I mean, it makes
protein and
sense.
shit.
This reminds me a lot of the Rolls Royce of beans that we tried.
Oh yeah, those were actually really good though.
But
Those
these
weird
have a
French
similar
beans.
these have a similar texture, just smaller and a similar flavor
They
profile.
do
I
actually.
think.
That
So-
same sort of
I also didn't like that.
it's earthy. I
Yeah.
think that's the best way to describe it.
I mean, I like these quite a bit. I would eat these with beans over rice and beans. Possibly.
That would be like
it's weird because this
you're
can
gonna
replace...
fart a lot if you do that.
Well,
like you're just gonna fart so much.
This can replace the beans, or it can replace the rice.
That's true.
It's oddly,
but could it replace both?
Flexible. I mean,
can you see a bowl of this?
I mean, I'm literally doing that for dinner right now because I'm lazy and don't feel like making anything else.
Yeah, I'm not eating.
I'd stir fry some vegetables and throw them in there.
But if you're gonna make rice and beans, then you're gonna make.
Well, if you want the giant bag of this that I have, you are welcome to it.
I'll take it.
Like this was this was 5 to 10% of the plate. Not a big deal.
Which
right now this is 100% of the bowl.
Well, yeah, but
it's overwhelmingly it's too much.
Well, and so South Indian cooking, that's actually totally how it works. It's lots of little dishes in like literally like little metal bowls filled with like there'd be this with one kind of flavoring, and then a different kind of lentil with a different kind of flavoring, and then like a little eggplant thing, and a little this, and a little this, and a little this.
Because you're willing to, get through the horrible tasting vitamin food for the more flavorful thing.
No. I would prepare this as I prepare rice, and I would also prepare this as I prepare beans, and put them together and eat a good rice and beans, but actually just this and this.
Basically, it's like the really lazy person's rice and beans.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's good and interestingly, what is it? Flexible, adjustable, malleable? What am I looking for?
I mean, lentils are a great food. Like, lentils are a food that are highly versatile, and I feel that these are no exception.
I want to eat a bread of this.
That is a thing. So, that's totally a thing. Like, the flour made out of this is is like used to make like flatbreads and stuff.
Nice.
I've seen recipes, gluten-free recipes with lentil
it's supposed
flour.
Well, this is supposed to be particularly good for like gluten-free because it's starchy enough to do that, basically.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like tapioca, where it has like
exactly
connected, not gluten. Yeah, okay,
right.
Oh,
yeah. So, for example, what it is these dosas, which seriously, like, Lee, you should go do this because it's gluten-free bread craziness. South Indian cooking has these dosas, which are these long rolled. They're like crepes, kind of, but they're huge, like literally, like 2 or 3 feet long, huge, with like potatoes and other stuff in the middle, and they are made out of flour, made out of this thing. They're good. I think there's an Adobe Palace somewhere in Chicago. We'll go find it.
This would be good filler in a gumbo.
It would be, actually.
It would go really well.
I have a good jambalaya recipe I've been meaning to try with rice. This would be like a hella healthy way to do that.
Yeah, replace the rice with it.
Don't throw away the jambalaya.
I don't think it would.
I love jambalaya.
If this is a symphony of bland, it would be perfect with some like real good, spicy whatever food. I don't think it's a symphony of bland, but I think it's just enough bland. Yeah. The world is its oyster. God, it'd probably be good with oysters.
No.
I mean, oysters are good with pretty much everything.
Yes, exactly.
Shall we henge this?
Yeah,
food?
definitely henge it up.
Sure.
I mean, in the end, I like it, but I'm also totally happy to have Adam take this bag off my hands because I don't need to eat it again.
It's a giant bag.
It's like real big.
Those are $5.
Yeah, I mean, lentils are hella cheap. I give it a 3.65.
2.
3.8.
You guys are killing me. It's like a 4.5.
But is it a 4.5?
Yeah.
Or is it like a 4.5?
Well, if you are a 4.5, then hopefully you're like 4.5s.
Why does all 4.5s have to be the same? Why are you gonna be, all conformist like that?
I don't know. Are all 4.5s worth the same?
Man.
Yes.
It's getting too deep.
That's numerically... whatever. This is Erd and other... It's a thing.
Don't search Erd. You will not find it. This book calls things dumb things. This is Urad Dal, is how it is usually referred to. Its name is Vigna Mungo, if you care.
Just go to twitter.com/the Immortals pod, find the tweet I just tweeted with a picture of this bull, print it out, go to your local farmer's market, and ask for this.
It's also called matpe bean, M-A-T-P-E. So... And it comes in both the husked form, which we have not tried, and the unhusked form.
Alright. Anyway, now it's time for the song. Pedro, what did we listen to this week?
We listened to The Hurt. Not The Hurt. Damn it. Let me try again. We listened to Hurt by 9 Inch Nails.
I did it.
You could have
Hurt is a song. It is written by Nine Inch Nails, and it came out in 1995. Yes. Okay.
Is it written by Nine Inch Nails, or is it written by Trent Reznor?
Well, I don't know. It was written by Trent Reznor.
He didn't print out the Wikipedia today.
I didn't print out the Wikipedia today. But, yeah. It's about things, most likely himself and life and drugs and sadness and all that great stuff. But it's great. It's actually really good. I dig this song a lot. It's intentionally disturbing, almost. If you listen to this with headphones, the left and right tracks fight each other, but not in the way that, like, it's a fun little, like, you know, where you hear one side have a riff and the other side something else in response. No, like, the opening has almost white noise. It's not quite white noise. There's an actual tone to it, but it's been fuzzed or distorted or both, like, mad, to where there's almost no semblance of the original tone. There is actually a tone, an overarching frequency, single frequency. But the way they fuzz it in each ear, the beat frequencies fight in such a way that your brain doesn't like it at all. It'll go back and forth from left to right in an intentionally disturbing, disorienting way. This is not something that happens accidentally.
But what you're describing it's really sophisticated, you know, artistic sound work, but also it works in still a very listenable way. Like,
oh no, it is.
Like the troublesome we had with Timeless in the earlier segment isn't like this. Like, this is creating a very listenable version of Misery.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense. Like, it's misery that you want to listen and understand.
Almost not, though. It's like right on the edge. When I first heard this, I thought maybe I had a weird YouTube recording or something, and I listened to other avenues. I acquired the song in various ways. And no, that is how they did it, and it's really interesting. Like, it bugged the shit out of me at first. But when he starts singing, and when, like, the instruments take over from this weird white noise, it's immediately, like, a feeling of not goodness, whatever, lifted off your shoulders, bad things gone, until half a second later,
relief.
That's the word, relief. I was thinking grief.
I was willing to say that bad thing's gone as the answer.
I mean,
keep going.
I like that answer. But then half a second later, it turns out it just sort of joined into the fray. But I don't know. It's so interesting. He sings the song mostly, but he's almost afraid of what he's saying. A lot of the more intense parts, he quiets down to almost a whisper, which really makes you dig in. I find the tune, melody, chorus aesthetically pleasing. Musically, it's really, I don't know, right up my alley. Even though it doesn't seem like it should be, because if you're not really listening carefully, if you hear it in the background or something, you might think it is actually just noise. But it's not.
I thought it was really pleasing at the end.
The end, it gets
self-critical within the lyrics.
Mm-hmm. No, it gets better, and it's sort of, I don't know. I guess the journey of it. I don't know. And then what the song's actually about, who is his dearest friend, all that sort of stuff, it's up for debate. I don't really know.
It's about drugs.
Well, yeah, it's about drugs, but...
But which drug?
Well, no, not which drug.
Cocaine.
Heroin.
Okay. Or is it cocaine or... Actually, no.
Well, the needle tears a hole, that'll
that's
stink.
Trent Reznor was addicted to cocaine.
Yeah.
Can you can't shoot cocaine, though.
Yes, you can.
guess you
Sherlock
can.
Holmes taught me that.
That's true. You can. That's true. You can. I feel like it's like the least common way to consume cocaine.
Well, way back in the day, cocaine came in liquid form.
Yeah.
That was how.
By the way, we're saying that Sherlock Holmes is real and that Lee met him once.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Very clear.
Yeah. Sherlock's real.
I mean, he could have done heroin.
It could have been heroin in this metaphor, or just like a more obvious visual metaphor, but Trent Reznor went to rehab and shit for cocaine, so...
So actually, it's interesting because the song that this song reminds me of is the song Heroin, which is by... Is it a Velvet Underground song? I think it is. I'm gonna find it right now because I'm like obsessed with this song. It's got the same sort of... Velvet Underground. Which is a song that is, guess what? That song called Heroin is about heroin.
Huh.
But it's got that same sort of self, like, introspective, painful feel.
Mm-hmm.
That also, like, it doesn't have the song doesn't really have like a climax. It doesn't build to anything. It just sort of
it's
makes
basically
you sit in like the wreck of life with him, which is really a cool thing for music to do.
It also reminded me of the song Creep by Radiohead.
That has a very similar feel, although
Yeah.
I feel Creep probably ripped this off a little bit.
Creep
homage.
indulges its desire to build to a climax more than this song does.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
I mean, Creep's like an amazing song, but the fact that I kept waiting for this song to get louder and more intense, and it just doesn't do it.
I think that makes sense though, because Nine Inch Nails kind of does that a lot.
Yeah, I know.
So it fits in with the rest of the theme of Nine Inch Nails, and I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really like it. I think that I agree with you that like it's the Nine Inch Nails feel, but it's a cool feel. I mean, I'm not a huge Nine Inch Nails fan, but it really works for the subject matter of this song.
No, it's sort of like it's not. There's no evolution to what's going on. It's basically just a day in the state of being that person in that state, whatever.
Horribly depressed and drug addicted.
Exactly. I don't know. I think it doesn't necessarily. It gets a little louder. It does build, but it's like in the same volume. I mean volume like volumetric, like in the same amount of space. It gets more densely packed. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just basic. I guess that's the same as saying its intensity grows. But
can we talk about the Johnny Cash version?
Yeah.
Wait, first.
But we need to finish.
We have to play our favorite game show. Did this wake up Adam?
Ooh, good question. Sort of. Yeah. It was. I think the ideal time that I would have wanted to listen to this would have been in high school, like maybe a week or two after my girlfriend broke up with me. I'm driving in a country road. One of my windows is down. My hand is out the window, and then I hear this song.
You could have a lot of feelings. Like you could just like feel a lot of feels with this song in that situation.
Yeah,
that's true.
That
That's a
didn't
good
happen,
point.
but that'd be.
But I think there were a lot of people who listened to this song in exactly that situation.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of sometimes make fun of those kind of emo songs, but when it hits that specific emotion and captures what you're feeling in that emotion, it's effective. I really like the song a lot. I mean, I really want to like dissing the song, but like the high school breakups, that's a pure feeling you have.
So that's a real life thing that happens. Yeah, that is shitty.
Although really, really simple, the piano in this song is one of my favorite occurrences of piano in a sort of modern rock song. It's only just a note being pushed every once in a while, and then sometimes they'll go to the note next to it. But it seems reassuring. It's like a little glimmer of hope in this background of fuzzy, dirty brokenness. When you have the echo, the voice echo, but they interior it, I guess. They make the echo in the track, then they start it before the actual note of the vocalist, which gives you this weird, like, fluid, not really sure where you're at feeling. Like, one of the only real groundings is this dirty, not twang in a country way, but twang of, like, just a guitar string and piano. It's sort of like the only thing that grounds you. And then when the chorus reappears later, it's more intense, and the echo, while still there, is almost drowned out because finally, maybe he's able to speak loud enough to pierce through whatever it was. I don't know. I
like that, actually.
There's a lot that you could think about, dig into, take away from this. It's a pretty deep, well done musically song. So it's no wonder that one of the best artists of all time decided to cover it and probably make the best version of it that exists.
David Bowie?
No.
He probably did.
David Bowie actually, no, in the Wikipedia page for this song, David Bowie and Trent Reznor did a duet when Nine Inch Nails opened for David Bowie. They did a duet for this.
That's pretty awesome.
That's actually really cool.
Is that recorded somewhere?
Probably.
I hope so. I honestly don't know. I just saw it on the Wikipedia page.
Alright, cool. I was joking, but Pedro's right. One of the best artists out there did a incredible cover. Let's talk about this for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say...
Did we say the name? Did I talk over
Johnny
it?
Cash?
Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually think we should play a clip, because I think that So...
No.
Right
I feel like the Johnny
Close out
Cash
with Johnny.
version needs to be seen. You need to see it
It's true.
with the music video.
The
Like,
music
don't
video
listen to
is-
it now.
I agree.
Go watch it with the music video.
I think
Okay.
the best comparison I would make is to the song Hallelujah. This is a interpretation that radically eclipses the original. Not that the original isn't good, but radically eclipses what the original is. And I think that Johnny Cash's version of Hurt is maybe one of the best songs of all time. Like, I mean...
We will tease you with a small clip at the end of the episode,
It's,
but
like-
not enough. Which we need to watch the video.
Yeah.
Which we link to the show notes.
It's, I mean, so Trent Reznor cried when he watched this video.
He's like, I don't know if I want him to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, whoop, never mind.
He described it as like losing a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because he realized that he had just like made up some words in his room to like get rid of the pain, and it had been reinterpreted into this like masterpiece, basically. And it is. It's like Johnny Cash uses this song to be a retrospect, like a view of his entire life. And the music video is amazing and focuses on the closed Johnny Cash museum.
Relationships.
Jeez.
Life.
Feels, guys. Like, this song's really important.
They didn't want to embellish anything. They recorded it at his crumbling home with his broken body because he was having health issues.
71 years old.
And at the time of filming, he was 7 months away from his own death.
Yeah.
And his wife died 3 months after filming.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about being a dying, recovering
Superstar and
drug addict and superstar.
It was something to see Johnny Cash at 71 wearing black. And like it still was a powerful image, but it also made me realize that some celebrities have to go wear a hat while going to the supermarket. He has to just not wear black. He's invisible.
It's true. It's very true.
If you wear a green polo,
nobody would know.
But it's true. You wear black, and you're like, holy shit, Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Up
the first time watching it, I was very impressed. I did not expect it to be that good. I need to watch it again because
we literally stopped watching it. I said, talk about art immortal. I mean, there's something about it that just, it is an instant. And
this is the song that you want to listen to when you're in your mid-20s-somethings and your girlfriend breaks up with you.
It's so true. It's like the grown-up version of the Nine Inch Nails song.
Yeah.
This makes a lot of sense
version
to me.
is just 10 years later.
Yep.
Now later we'll have some artist, we'll have like some other artist cover it when he's 91 years old, and we'll say, well, when you're 40 and you get a divorce, this is the version of her.
The Johnny Cash version.
Yeah, actually, let's just... Yeah.
The 20s still gets the 9 Inch
Not to
version.
dissuade any artists from trying, please, by all means, make art, but It's always going to be
All
the
right.
Johnny Cash version.
I think it's time to hinge it up.
The original song, I give high marks, 4.8. Johnny Cash, I give a 5.
Yeah, I think I gotta hedge them separately too. I do a 4.5 and a 5.
Are we hedging both?
I think we have.
I mean, one is an asterisk.
I feel like
the one
I feel
gets
like,
the actual rating. We can do a bonus look
I
on the
feel like
website.
I don't know. I mean, not to interrogate the format too much. But I understand the song is the Nine Inch Nails song, but like when you have a song like this that has a cover version that truly is like a part of like which version of Hallelujah do you friggin' bring? I mean, like the song is impressive because it has both of these amazing versions.
Cool.
I just want to point out we've done this before.
Yeah, we
which one?
hinged their cats.
That's true.
No, for episode 32, and I remember this because it really annoyed me when Pedro said it.
Yeah,
we were
I was real mean at everyone because it was like,
the
not allowed,
song
but
was
yeah, it's allowed.
the song was La Mer, which
right.
eventually became Beyond the Sea,
Right,
and
right,
you were
right,
all like, murmur. I don't care if it was just famous because another song was made after it with the
That
same
one
tune,
did
blah,
change.
blah,
That
blah.
one was a tune and lyric change as opposed to a cover, which is a little different. But I recognize your point.
No,
Also-
yeah, I'll apologize for my.
Also, we were losing
Harsh
our
words.
minds because we were dying of heat.
Was that episode?
I think that was the
Yeah.
episode where we
Okay.
were like dying, yeah.
We saw a triple feature in theaters, and then came here, and it was dying of
Some
heat.
people saw a triple feature.
Anywho,
Anyway, 4.5 out of 5.
I give a 4.7 and a 4.8.
I'll give the Nine Inch Nails one 3.9 and the Johnny Cash one, I guess, 4.6.
Nice.
And Liam, you got?
The Nine Inch Nails one, I'll give it a 4. It's fine. And then I have not sat down and watched the Johnny Cash version more recently enough to give it a true rating, I believe.
Fair.
All right. That is Hurt by Nine Inch Nails. Take a listen.
How's this
Now, time for the children's book segment. Adam, what book was assigned this week?
Yay, it was Neitah, A Girl from the Far North by Edith Klatt.
Hey, Adam, can we find it this week?
No.
All right, good segment. Now it's time for the TV segment.
Wait, what?
You couldn't find the book.
Oh,
So I can't find the book.
I did find it online somewhere, but it was like, here's a PDF of it. Give me your credit card number first.
Yeah, that was a fake thing. I saw it
That's
too.
what I thought.
So, yeah, that's can't find it. One day we might.
Yep.
Not today.
And until then, we can't die.
For today, we had to go a long time ago to a galaxy far, far away to Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Yay, Star Wars!
Woo!
Yes, this is the animated show that aired on Cartoon Network from 2008 to 2014. This takes place between Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and Star Wars
Noted great movie, Star Wars Episode 2.
noted barely a film, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. This is the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker as they are generals and Jedis during the Clone Wars. Anakin Skywalker has a new Padawan whose name is Ahsoka.
Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah. And basically, we're having... This is actually pretty interesting because there are two ways to watch the show. There is the chronological version, which is you watch the film that came out, the animated film that came out in like 2003-ish, and then you watch in the order it aired on Cartoon Network. But apparently there's a lot of network interference, a lot of issues going on, that the order that aired is still heavily debated. So once the series ended in 2014, StarWars.com, LucasArts and whatnot, they said, here's the order we recommend that you watch it, which has quite a bit of jumping around. This is the chronological order. Sometimes it is just a cool way to watch it because later in the series, you'll have a couple like prequel episodes. But other times it's actually necessary because you know what the hell's going on.
I started watching in the Cartoon Network aired order. Don't do it. It makes no sense. It is Cartoon Network aired in the order that it did because of stupid kids programming reasons. They were like, whatever.
I
like,
disagree with you.
Really?
Because she watched it Netflix order, which is the Cartoon Network order.
Yeah.
Sarah and I jumped around according to Star Wars order, and also Ray Martindale of Constant Diversion fame, he watched it completely in the Netflix order and found it really satisfying to watch it that way. So I had lots of different arguments of which way I would do it. So
I feel like there are definitely times that the prequels are like. Look, I mean, I have a problem with the standalone prequel episodes, but not to get too in the weeds. But things like the Battle of Christophsis, which is a single storyline, are split in the Cartoon Network order across like 3 seasons for no reason, and it's confusing as hell. And the narrative arc of some of these arcs are completely killed. I mean, I agree that like definitely like prequels are fine. Like it would have been fine to watch some of the standalone or some of the prequel arcs at other points in the series instead of at the beginning. But like, I don't know, you can't split an arc over like 3 seasons just because you like having battle scenes to sell more toys at Christmas. It's annoying.
Well, so if you have seen the Star Wars prequels, actually, you know what, screw it. You're not going to attend this segment. I'm not going to explain this to you. But it's an interesting story where you have... Because this is a prequel series. We all know that Anakin Skywalker will become Darth Vader.
What?
I was waiting for one of you to do that. I didn't know which one it was. I was worried it was Sarah. It was you.
I know lots about Star Wars. What are you talking about?
No, I didn't accuse you of not knowing that. Okay, never mind. You're all dead to me. Someone wake up Adam and tell him that he's dead to me.
I would have said that, probably, too.
You might still in 5 minutes.
I might.
But anyway, you have... Because there are a couple, like... It's hard to do an effective prequel series. Right now, I really like the show Better Call Saul. Because even though we know where Saul Goodman will end up in Breaking Bad, the story of Jimmy McGill, which was his real name before Saul, is actually very fascinating because not every prequel needs to be whether or not this character is going to die. It can be more about what led them to kind of change their morals and led them towards a more nuanced character path. While Anakin is in danger because he goes into amazing fight sequences and he has to fight with a lightsaber, it isn't cheesy or manipulative in the way that Gotham is, where Gotham has every scene saying, "I'm going to kill Jim Gordon. Dun dun dun." This is the story of Anakin and Obi-Wan, who we know will live the series. I'm only seeing a third of it, but I feel pretty darn confident they're going to live. I'm worried about Ahsoka. Only a third of the way through. It's telling a more complicated story. It's telling a more complicated story in a way that I've only seen one at a time in children's animation, but I've only seen a limited amount. But Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Well, you know that there's a reason for that because these guys went on to make Avatar: The Last Airbender, or there's similar crews to it.
At the same time.
Well, there's they have overlapping crews in some way. Let me look it up, but they have overlapping
the showrunner of Avatar went right into Korra, but like I bet there were other like writers and such.
There's like the backbone is there's some of the same people involved. In the backbone of these shows.
Because both like it's just really incredible to see these 1-episode stories or these trilogy of episodes tackle war. I mean, this is looking at Star Wars as the war element in a really sophisticated, complicated way, where you're having truly, sophisticated war generals on both sides plotting how to hurt the other one, and it's nuanced and it's complicated and it's really messy, and sometimes it's a bit silly. Jar Jar's in like 6 episodes. And the movie's terrible.
I have to go with my dear friend Pranks Paul, whose theory on Jar Jar...
Host of Never Tell Me the Pods.
Host of Never Tell Me the Pods, and the upcoming podcast Adventure. Hi, Pranks! He notes that his theory is that the showrunners intentionally insert Jar Jar into the good episodes of Clone Wars purely to troll fans. And so far from what I have seen, this holds up. Jar Jar is in, like, some of the best episodes
False.
No, he was in definitely one lame one.
There was a really, really good arc that he was not in.
That's true. No,
Oh,
he's
not-
not. No,
not
he's
all the
not
good
in
ones.
all the good ones. But actually, most of the episodes that Jar Jar is in are good, and Jar Jar's just there to fuck with you.
Except for when he made a stupid plate tower to distract
The
bad
plate
guys.
tower distraction is amazing and works, and is the best thing.
It was a
ever.
boring episode about,
It's great.
ship
You're wrong.
negotiation.
It's great.
Whatever. But that's kind of like, let's get into it a little bit deeper. I saw about 40 episodes, which is basically, I jumped around, but almost all season 1 and 2 in Sky Bits of 3. Sarah, you saw a bit more than I did.
Probably saw about 50 episodes.
And Lee, how much did you see?
I am currently on season 4, episode 17.
Oh wow,
Holy
you're ahead
shit.
of me. Jeez. It's real good.
So wait, Lee's seen the most. Lee,
Yeah.
what did you think of it?
I really enjoyed this. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. Some of my earliest memories from this lifetime are Star Wars based, so it's been an important part of my life. I dragged my feet on watching Clone Wars for the longest time. I kind of started it once or twice before, but I dragged my feet because even though all of my friends and everybody I respected said it was a really great show, I just could not get past the fact that it was between episodes 2 and 3, which are
Yup.
2 of the worst of the 7 movies. So,
8?
Rogue One is a standalone.
Fair enough.
Anyway, but yeah, so I dragged my feet for a really, really long time, and then I finally actually started getting into it, and it's really good. Like, it fixes everything wrong with episodes 2 and 3.
It totally does.
Because one of my major problems with episode 2 is that I never really understood the dynamic between Obi-Wan and Anakin. We went from him being an actual child to now them being peers. And that's never explored well because then they split up the entire movie, do weird random shit, and then the prequel trilogy ends with, like, them fighting on a volcano. And that doesn't work very well because we don't really have any sense of history, except we have history of them separately. This has a whole new dynamic, and even though the beginning episodes, at least chronologically, are a little repetitive, like, Anakin, stay here and don't do that. Then Anakin doesn't do that, blows everything up, saves the day. And everyone's like, I'm boring. It becomes... They move past that really quickly to a really interesting terrain of a bit of Anakin changing the way the Jedis are operating. Because they started to become almost every episode, characters going, this isn't the Jedi way, and then they do it. I watched a really good episode last night where Ahsoka, Anakin's Padawan, had her lightsaber stolen.
Oh, I really love that episode's really good.
I really like that. And it's basically
Really good
she's
episode.
avoiding telling Anakin this happened, so it's a whole episode just with her. And
like the old dude, right? The
Yeah.
really old
yeah.
Jedi who follows
You
her
need to
around.
slow down.
yeah.
So good.
And you're seeing, as she's trying to get her lightsaber back, she's doing practical things like going to the library to research, but also she's torturing people with the Force. And you're seeing Anakin's policies start to become more acceptable in a wartime setting. And Ahsoka had an interesting thing about, like, we're warriors of the peace, but what do we do when the war's over? Like, what is that like? And we're now seeing, it's so interesting to have them keep being called, like, General Kenobi and General Skywalker, because you now have these Zen-like people as generals, and it's upsetting, and it's fascinating. It's a really good show.
And it's not something that the show tries to explain away either. It's something that it actually addresses, especially with the Mandalore storyline. Like, they're trying to stay neutral, and they're like, hey, we're trying to be neutral. You guys say you're the peacekeepers. What the fuck are you doing fighting a war?
Although, the Mandalore storyline also has one of the best moments of Anakin just being like, y'all are being idiots. Make decisions in a very, like, heated but ultimately useless standoff about who can be more pacifist. Anakin just kills the guy who's threatening to blow up the entire ship, a la the Joker in The Dark Knight, with, like, you know, the evil button. It's like, what are you gonna do, Batman? It's like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, we're done with this now. No, the show is way better than it has any right to be. Much like Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is crazy good. The stuff they do, I'm really interested in the stuff they do about clones. The whole concept of clones is
that's
bonkers.
Never been like in the movie ever.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I actually, before I started watching Clone Wars, the show, because I hate myself, I rewatched episode 2, because, like, and I did it because, like, I literally couldn't remember what happened in episode 2, because that movie is so boring.
Which, by the way, is bullshit, because Adam and I watched episode 2 before Force Awakens, and you said, no, I'm not watching that.
Well, I mean, I don't claim to be logical or reasonable. You're the one who thinks I'm logical and reasonable. So...
Our livers felt that one.
Episode 2 is terrible. Absolutely terrible. But part of the reason it's terrible is that, like, this clone army thing is bonkers and is interesting. The idea that you are creating basically a race of humans who age twice as fast, which is bonkers. Who
they're going to become stormtroopers, so it's very weird seeing the imagery of having these people in not the exact helmets, but really darn close, on the good guy's side.
Oh yeah,
all these parts. Like, you know how corrupt
they're going to go. I actually will unironically recommend my friend Pranks' podcast, Never Tell Me the Pods. They have an episode about clones and all of the crazy implications of the existence of clones, which are all real rough. But the show talks about that. It talks about concepts of individuality within like the clone army. Like, are they really different, or are they really the same? Like, genetic determinism. I mean, I'm super into it.
My favorite is when they talk about the value of human life, which this is a fucking cartoon show. This was on Cartoon Network, and they're talking about deep, heavy shit like the value of human life. And just because they're a clone, does that mean their life is less? Like, it is crazy and insane, and I love it.
The episode I'm talking about, by the way, Never Tell Me the Pods, and I'm actually recommending this because I think Lee, you would really like this, is called Back to Basics, and it's really, really good. Episode 29. But no, it like, this show touches on so much about wartime, and then, like, it really does just fix everything shitty about episodes 2 and 3. It takes all of these plot threads that are interesting but ultimately get shat on by George Lucas's shitty brain. And not that I'm angry at George.
He did create the show.
Shitty writing.
Shitty writing, mostly. But also shitty... George Lucas truly believes in black and white morality. Like, that is his thing. And he feels strongly about it, and when he is put in control of his universe that he created, we get, Han shot first controversies and other things. Like, his good guys are good guys, his bad guys are bad guys, and he's not particularly interested in the in-between. Which doesn't work when you're telling the prequel story about your main bad guy and have to make him an interesting character and sympathetic. Like, that's not what that's about. And this show takes the George Lucas plot reins off just enough to actually have that conversation, and it's really good. Also, Obi-Wan is hilarious and stupid all the time.
He's a doofus.
He's so dumb, and his voice is so great, and it's so dumb every time.
So in the movie, which, if you are going to watch it, you should probably watch first, because that's where Ahsoka teams up with Anakin.
Oh god, no, wait, we have to talk about the Clone Wars movie, though, because it's so bad.
Which technically isn't part of this, but...
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I say you should watch it. Because, like...
Lee, now that you've watched so much of the show, you should totally watch the movie, because it's trash. It's terrible trash, and you will find it really entertaining.
Yeah, it's terrible.
There's a baby Hutt called Stinky who farts a lot. It's great.
This looks like poop.
Oh, is this like the first... Did they do a pilot thing where, like, the pilot is actually a movie?
Yeah,
I guess so,
it was in theaters like 5 years earlier. It was a mess. But
I feel like I've seen that.
it's really bad.
It's real bad.
But that brings us up. Where am I going with this?
I don't know.
Okay, anywho, since a couple more things, we probably should wrap it up soon. The one criticism I would have with the show is that, unlike Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I think is a truly incredible piece of art, this does sometimes feel a bit too, like, piecemeal. Like, I like that Avatar goes from episode to episode to episode to episode to episode, and has a very kind of organic through line as they pick up new arcs and stories. This one does begin in a very entertaining fashion of old-fashioned movie reel news clips of, war and this kind of thing.
I love that narrator.
That
The narrator's awesome.
Amazing.
But it is just kind of like always jumping into the middle of a conflict. I don't like the flow as much.
Mm-hmm.
It is smart writing because you get to tell more kind of stories and more kind of things, but it hurts when you're kind of watching a lot in a row for me. That it just feels like I want some more downtime, I guess, to kind of build towards this.
I think it works though when you're watching it in the chronological order because it does jump around more. It gives you that little, and this is where we left these people off last time. So I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah,
and I thought it really helped.
And the one thing I think we really need to bring up is that this show is very dark is the wrong word. It's very serious in what it's approaching. But it still has the fun of Star Wars, which is a very important thing. Because Star Wars, despite the title, is actually a very fun property. And they do that well through the characters and the action and the visuals. But also, it has a very impressive sense of humor that shouldn't work with the droids that just keep getting slaughtered. I really love these dumb,
Roger,
nameless droids who look like toothpicks, basically.
They're so dumb.
I truly believe this might be one of the best jokes in the entire franchise of Star Wars, where there's a young Jedi who's in this place, and she's just kind of going through it all, and there's tons of separatists trying to stop her. But in this major room, there are a couple droids, and two of them are talking, and one of them turns to the other and says, "Hey, have you ever killed a Jedi?" And the one went, no, I haven't. And the one went, me neither. And the door opens and the Jedi slaughters both of them for lightsaber.
like the droids are, well, and it's great because the show is clearly very aware of the shittiness of the fact that these are all apparently sentient AI, and the fact that we just brutally slaughter them is fucked up and weird, and the show's just riffing on that for ages in a way that is amusingly dark for adults.
I think it's now time to hinge it.
Oh man, I love this show.
I think the more I see, the more I'll like it, but at this point, I'm going to give it a 4.3.
I'm going to give it a 4.6.
I did want to mention real quick, I do really like that there are side stories that aren't just the Skywalkers fucking up the universe.
Oh, true.
Skywalkers are a monster race.
Yeah, it's actually there are episodes where it's just the clones dealing with them being clones, or it's R2-D2 and C-3PO and their wacky hijinks and things like that. So I really enjoy those side standalone episodes a lot. Anyway, I'm going to give this a 4.5. I recommend this show. It's real good.
Alright, that is Star Wars The Clone Wars. Well, it's on for 6 seasons, and currently all of them plus the movie is on Netflix. Yep. So check it out.
Yep.
But we can't. We've got to wrap up an episode.
God, that show
is over. We did it.
Yay!
59.
We're done?
Well, I mean,
we're done.
This part where we kind of
TV show,
talk
so,
a bit about how we're done and how.
Yeah, but for all intents and purposes.
No, but we're always interrupted.
Well, yeah. Hey, he's here. Hi, intern.
Immortals.
Hey, hi. How you doing? What's up?
Gather round. I have a yarn to spin.
Oh boy.
Ooh, I like spinning yarn. Lee likes spinning yarn.
I know how to spin yarn.
Wait, that's cool.
Yeah, she spins her own. It's cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Are you ready now?
Sure, whatever.
Yeah. Sorry.
Soon after the transition change, Bethany had built a magnificent palace in the sky. I cannot tell you how magnificent it was. And I would walk to work, and I would see a man standing in front of a wall. A blank wall. There was nothing in front of him at all. And soon, I would ask him what he was doing. And he said, I cannot tell you. And I would befriend this man, and we... Well, not a man, of course. A being which you would not understand.
Sure.
He and I became friends, and after our conversation last week, where you intimated that I might be the intern, I got to thinking, and I asked my friend, so what do you guard in front of that wall? And seeing that we were friends, at that point, he told me. In fact, he showed me. And he pressed a button on the wall that I could not see, and he took me into a room with a giant screen in it.
What?
And just as I looked in the bottom right corner and saw the word Windows, Bethany appeared behind me and told me that yes, this was the screen for the windows into our minds, and I knew it was the memory machine.
Wait, this is super complicated.
Yeah, right?
Yes, it is how she controls your memories.
What?
Oh, cool.
And she told me.
What kind of Windows was this?
Was this like Windows 95?
Was this a computer? Were you looking at a
Were you
computer?
just looking at a computer.
There was an X and a P after it.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Wait, our memories were controlled by XP?
XP was pretty good.
I mean, it's true, but like, geez, we don't even merit like modern Windows. It's rough, man.
It was modern many, many centuries ago.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's about right.
Wait, you've had that computer for centuries?
It's a very old machine.
That's confusing on a number of levels.
Is Bill Gates a god? How else would he come up with XP?
Alright, let's write that down. Let's get to that later.
Bethany then told me that if I were to touch the windows in any way, several realities, including my own, would be annihilated.
Huh.
And so,
Wait, how?
I suppose, she did not say.
Oh.
But her words are wise,
But
and
yeah.
so I cannot confirm nor deny that I am this intern who you knew from before.
But you don't know for sure.
Unless I touch the windows.
Well, the intern did get fired, quote unquote. So maybe he touched it and got fired.
What
Like,
realities will get destroyed?
flamed up.
Just yours?
No, several. She said
That makes a lot of sense.
Several.
Is this like that history eraser button thing?
Would that include our reality?
Quite probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then don't touch it.
Please, yeah, just leave it.
Don't
Let it be.
touch
Let it
that
be.
Well,
machine.
how do you know
It's
what will
fine.
happen? Maybe something bad?
What if
Maybe
you already
something
did
good.
touch it?
Have
What
you
if
touched
that's
it?
what 2016 is?
Oh shit, this is rough.
Have you touched it?
Did you touch it?
No,
I mean, I guess we'll
but
never
I
know.
Are you lying?
am about to.
No, do not.
No, don't
do
do
not
it.
touch
Don't
it.
do it.
Your next number is 51.
What? No.
Woo!
Do not touch the.
Wait, no, don't.
First of all, you definitely already touched it. Like, for sure.
Touch what? What did he
The
do?
button.
Ruined
Touch the history
ruined
eraser
the world.
button.
Oh, good. I thought he...
The
Touch me or
minion
something.
might destroy
Adam?
the world.
Oh. Okay.
We may only have. I don't really know how like the time difference works. We may have seconds to live or a week. Next Thursday.
Well,
Next
we
Thursday
won't
at
die.
midnight Central Time.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay.
Sure.
That's bad.
I'm alright.
Also, we're gonna look up this whole Bill Gates thing. That's a good thing to write down.
Definitely get God.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we gotta figure that out. Episode next week's 51. It's 51. Give me one of those books.
Books are hard.
Books are hard. They're behind
they're-
lots of boxes and stuff. Here, here's a book. You need this book?
No, it's not
Underneath the
at
fork.
all the right book.
Whatever. You just figure it out.
Jesus Christ.
It's been a long episode.
Someone else
man.
go first. I'm gonna get the right book.
Ooh, the food is golden kiwi. Golden kiwi
The
fruit. If you
Yeah,
want to
read the whole
completely
word.
right. It's a kiwi. It's the same thing.
Lee, what did you say?
The album is Otis Blue. Otis Redding Sings Soul by
Oh shit.
Otis Redding.
Oh shit.
It's
That's
gonna be real
awesome.
good, you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
The movie is now our 4th Best Picture winner. which is All Quiet on the Western Front.
All right.
Which has white people, but they aren't whining.
Is this
Is there
Trump's
sex?
favorite movie?
That's his favorite book.
It's his favorite book.
But also, that just means he heard it was acclaimed. And
I don't think that Donald Trump has ever read a book.
I do not think so. Well, he says he hasn't in decades because he's too busy.
Right.
Also, he can't read.
Yeah, also that. Also that.
I don't believe he can read.
The children's book is The Story About Ping by Marjorie Flack and Kurt, I can only assume, is Kurt Weisse. His name is spelled W-I-E-S-E.
Oh.
Weisse, probably.
We got a week to figure it
Or
out.
Weiss, if he's American.
Speaking of kings, BBC King.
BBC King
Jesus
for
Christ.
the person's name, yeah.
Did the song that is coming up next, which is "Please Love Me" by BB King.
It's pretty needy sounding
And
song.
the TV show is... It's Bonanza.
Yeah!
Yeah.
One of the longest running shows ever made.
How could this be bad?
It's over 400 episodes.
You're gonna watch them all, right?
Well, one day.
Someday you gotta watch them all.
I mean, I'm still watching Gotham.
Well, okay, but yeah, that's real.
Also, since next week is episode 60, that means it's our tradition to have one of us pick a bonus review to do. And I haven't gone yet. Because we had Adam go twice for episode 50. And because I was waiting for my show to finish. So we are finally, after alluding to it for probably half of the series so far, we are all going to review Rectify.
No!
Which means we have now doubled the people who've seen the show.
It's true.
Whoa.
It's now up to 10.
Y'all should watch this show, it's real good.
Indeed. So that is Rectify. Seasons 1 through 3 are on Netflix. Bonanza, there's a bunch of episodes on Hulu. Just happen to know that. Yeah, that's it. That's it for the episode.
Yay!
Until next week, you can find us at the Immortals Pod on Twitter, where you can see a picture of the food we ate and retweets to Onion articles that relate to things we've covered. Also, you can email us at theimmortals@theartimmortal.com. You can check us out on YouTube, as I will one day curate that better. It takes time. You can also go to theartimmortal.com and leave a comment on this episode. Let us know what you think of Sex Lies and Videotapes, Erd, 9 Inch Nails, Star Wars, Timeless.
You said sex lies and videotapes real fast, which makes it sound like sexualized videotapes.
Well, which is accurate.
True.
I'm curious what people think about that.
It's true.
Yeah, me too, actually. I am really curious.
And, go there, but also when you're there, you can check out a number of things. A bunch of articles in the cinematic musings section, like how Nick Rogers and myself just finished up a year of not watching trailers and what we learned from that. It is definitely two different opinions about how we spent our year. You can also check out our podcasts, where tomorrow we have our third episode of Pixar within the Let's Take 5, and we had Lee as a guest.
Woohoo!
Lee was fantastic, and check out that episode tomorrow. I really liked that one. And also, this is still January's month for Ad Absurdum, where these brilliant lawyers covered The Truman Show, and since last episode, I've now heard the episode, and I really liked it.
I can't say we're brilliant, but The Truman Show is really fucked up, and we talk about that.
Yeah, there are major issues. They talk about all the ways that Truman could sue.
So
and
many
there
ways,
are
guys.
many ways.
I didn't know that was a Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to watch it.
You have to watch it, and then listen to my podcast.
You would really like the episode, actually. And also,
have you listened to my first episode?
I don't think I have yet.
Rough. Adam, have you?
I'll download it
Because,
right now.
come on, guys.
wait, Adam did the theme for the show.
Oh, that's true. Adam, did you?
Yeah, so I have to watch it.
Have you actually listened to the episode?
Yeah, I listened to some of it.
Oh. That's actually way worse than having listened to none of it.
I'm finding
Like, if
wait,
you listened
now.
to some of it, you turned it off halfway through and were like, fuck this.
Have you listened to my Pixar episodes?
I haven't yet, but I'm going to.
All right.
They're on my download queue.
So we are all so close to listening to the podcast on this network, so we're saying.
I have a lot of books to read.
Yeah, we read a book a week. Or not this week. We didn't do shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Anywho, next month is Ad Absurdum is Jurassic Park, so Pedro will listen to that the day of. Yeah, that's it. Thank you all for listening. You all are great. We somehow still went long without having a segment, but there's a lot of shit to talk about.
There's some important things.
It's important shit to talk about. Now we have to sign off because we all need to watch The Bachelor.
Yup.
So, yeah, we're all watching The Bachelor.
We're doing that right now.
I'm Austin.
I am Adam.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Lee.
I'm Pedro.
We'll catch you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
You stay the hell away from me, you hear?
I wear this crown of thorns upon my liar's chair, full of broken thoughts I cannot repair.